Carlos, how are you, man?
Very good. How are you?
Very good, man. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to
Welcome to
meet
the
you.
interview. I'm
Thank you for
excited
having
about
me.
this one.
Me too. Me too.
I don't know if you guys saw my review, but I really liked the album. I thought it was
I
great.
did. I did. I comment on your YouTube channel actually.
Yeah. And I wanted to say, man, first of all, congratulations. So it's exciting, right?
Thank you
Releasing a
very
new
much.
album. It- I think it was been what, 5 years between them.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
a lot of hard work, a lot of stress. So congratulations, man.
Thank you very much. It's out now, so we can just, just wait and see what happens. Yes. Breathe for a moment.
It's been like when I was looking you guys up at first, I heard that first song and I did a reaction to it. You were characterized as like a progressive death metal band. I thought that's
Yes.
not a fair description because you guys have so much more to offer than that.
Thank you very much. I don't know that this label thing, with the music is very difficult to get
Mhm.
into, but people tend to when they need a little bit of that to represent with words what the music is. But music is music, so people should listen and then whatever. If you like it, you like it, and yeah.
Something that's been made clear to me by a lot of musicians that I've interviewed is this idea of that maybe 20, 30 years ago, when it was thrash metal, it was thrash metal. Power metal was power metal. Now it's just a fusion. Everything's a fusion of different elements we're so inspired by.
Yes, yes. I think it's like with other arts, when it comes to, for example, let's say films or paintings.
Yeah.
We need to categorize a little bit to be able to wrap around, the whole thing. But once you understand how it works, you need to find, the nuances in every piece of art because, of course, it will be different. I mean, even when with labels like thrash metal or power metal in the metal community, there are bands and bands. Some bands add some other things, and I think it's not really fair for that bands to say it's just power metal. No, maybe
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
something
yeah.
else. Go and try to find.
How was the reception been like for the album?
It looks like it was so far so good. I mean,
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's difficult because we don't feel when people like you say that you like it very much, but we are like the people making it, and you are always a little bit insecure. I would say the same when you
Yeah,
write
yeah,
music.
yeah.
Through the process, some days you really like something you've been working in, but the next day is like the worst thing ever, and then the next day,
Yeah.
and then it repeats through a time lapse of 2 years, and in the end, you don't know what's happening. I remember this moment all the time when we were recording drums and we were like so tired. Like I was listening to all the takes, like I don't know, 6 hours of drum recordings. And at some point, I think we were recording Anabasis part two or something like that. And at some point, we were so tired. I thought, who will like this anyway? I mean, it's so ugly thing to be recording. I mean, so much work for this, but then somehow people like it, and it's very difficult to enjoy music as a creator. I mean, I think.
Yeah. I've heard that a lot. Some people get very tired. Like they release an album, they've worked on it for so many years. It's like, oh my God, I need like a little break from it because you don't even want to hear music.
Yeah,
And then you have to
especially
come
your
back to it.
music. Especially your music. It's like, for example, I cannot listen to any of the Persephone stuff myself. I don't like it, never, ever. My wife, she likes the band. Sometimes we're in the car, and then
Hmm.
some song pops up from any album, and she's all the, I'm sorry, and then she skips the song because it's like very demanding to me. I keep listening a lot of mistakes, and yeah, I like
I
better.
think you're a true artist. You're a true artist. You're never happy with your work. You always want
I
to
don't
improve it.
know. I like the art that other people does. That's the good one, The other
Yeah,
bands,
yeah,
those are
yeah.
the good ones, not mine, because that's the way it works. I think.
For me personally, the album came out of nowhere because I consider myself a hardcore metalhead. My brother and I, we come from Russia, so we've migrated from Russia to here,
Mm,
United States, listening to heavy metal.
yes.
And because there's so many bands and so many albums coming out, I just never heard of you guys before. But I'm so happy to have discovered you because I almost instantly connected and enjoyed it. And I actually read in one of your interviews that you guys set out to make a heavier album with this one than your previous ones. And
Definitely.
what I wanted to ask you, why was that important for you guys to kind of make it heavier? What was the reason for it?
I mean, what happened was that we did this album called Spiritual Migration like years ago,
Hmm.
and somehow people like that album a lot. Um, but then we changed members. We had a drummer and a guitar player, but then for the new one, Asthma, the latest album we did before Metanoia, we had this new drummer and a guitar player. They were younger than us, and they were so happy to join the band, but they only wanted one thing. They said, we want to sound nothing similar to the Spiritual Migration album. We want to go far from that. Another producer, another approach, whatever. So we did Athma, which in my opinion is a little bit more softer and more ambiental, a little bit, you know. So we went that direction. After that, I like hard music. So I had that urge a little bit, you know, I want to be fast again. I really want to do a darker and you know, and let's say punchier album. And then we started using 7 strings as well, you know, to try to push a little bit, you know, the boundaries. And then they were happy about it. And I mean, that was something pretty organic, but that's why we did these 2 movements, you know. Spiritual Migration is pretty heavy, then we went a little bit softer. And now this one, we tried to go very hard, but I think in the end, it was kind of a cinematic kind of experience. It's not that heavy, this album in the end, but when it's heavy, it's heavier than Atma, I think.
It's something that I did point, I don't know if I pointed out in the review, but I definitely said like when it's heavy, it's heavy. When it's beautiful and soft, that it has its moments when it's more beautiful and soft. It's an ebb and flow of music going up and down.
Yes, and it's really difficult to keep the balance. You know, you are all the time thinking like, is this like much of the quiet stuff going on, or there is too much of a heavy stuff going on? There is like few parts where Mark the vocalist is screaming or not, or too many solos or not. So in the end, I think it's pretty instrumental. The album is pretty instrumental, and I think it's more of kind of a cinematic vibe, you know, like film vibe, than a really hard and heavy album, like overall, you know.
Overall, yeah. Well, I do want to apologize if you probably hear a lot of noise coming from my apartment.
It's okay. No.
Exactly what we want to do in the interview. They want to start doing some kind of construction outside.
No, everything is fine. I don't hear anything.
But on that note, you actually answered one of my questions in some sort of way. But there was another element to it I had, is that the one thing I really enjoyed is there was a constant progression in the music. Whether it be the riffing, the drumming, the vocals, they always changed. It almost feels like you never repeat anything ever. It just keeps going, right? And as a matter of fact, it took me a couple of times to get the album to listen to it, because I would listen to it. I'm like, I thought I missed something. Second time, well, I think I missed this thing. And I had to re-listen a couple of times to catch everything, kind of understand how you were writing the music. And you started answering this question. It's like you were never progressive for the sake of being progressive.
We try not to. We try not to, you know, that's it.
How do you strike that perfect balance?
I mean, it's been a long time. In the beginning, we had this vision of trying to put together all this stuff that we like. And at the beginning, we were like very, very, very bad at that, you know, like there were like these very disjointed songs, and, you know, you just try. It's a trial and error. You try to learn, and then with the time you learn from your mistakes, and hopefully you get better at that. And with the time, you know, especially Mo, the keyboard player, and we also work as musicians. Like we make music productions from also movies and television and trailers and video games. So all that stuff, when you're writing in different styles and ideas, then you learn how a song works and how to think on the band as if it was a kind of a symphonic idea, you know, instead of a metal band. So for us, the vocals are just one, it's another instrument, you know.
It's another instrument,
And then we think on the music, like there's like 4 areas. Like we have the harmony, the melody, the rhythmic ideas, and the aesthetics, you know, style, if you want. So we try to keep all of them together, and then the concept. So we try to understand what's going on all the time in order to get this line moving with a hopefully coherence, you know.
It very much reminds me of Opeth, especially old school days of Opeth.
Maybe, yeah.
The way they would write their music, especially like Blackwater Park.
That one's amazing.
Yeah, I would see there's a lot of kind of, not necessarily stylistic similarities, but more the way you approach the idea of writing music. I would very much compare it to something like that. And that, like you said yourself, it's a great album.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, we were inspired by them. But I think I was like 19 years old when the Blackwater Park came in, and that was the first time I listened to something like that. And it's like they show something like you don't need to write this song like verse, chorus, verse, intro. You can't go like with a very long ass riff, And then we were like listening to that. We were young, and then I was a lot into the shredding thing in the 90s, and then to theater, and then Symphony X, and then Metallica, Megadeth, all the bands, Iron Maiden. You have a kick-ass teaser,
Thank
and
you.
then you just put all the things together because you love all the music. And then at the end, we thought about it's like a painting. We have these skills we have, like just the skills we have, not like amazing, but just the skills we have. We try to put them to work towards a musical vision, and let's see what happens. And all the soundtracks, and we like stories, we like to read, we like the philosophy. We said, okay, all the things in the same place. Try to create kind of fan art from there, and hopefully someone will enjoy it in the future.
And you know what is I wanted to you kind of also mentioned some of the things is the album's various things, and I wanted to talk about the collaborations, which you both had both metal collaborations on this album, and I would say non-metal with everybody. For those who are not aware, with Stefan from Obscura, Vivaldi. You had Einar from Leprous, which I would say is a very good comparison to your band as well. There's a lot of similarities. And even I can't pronounce her name, Merith from which is a Norwegian singer.
Yes.
You had really.
Yes, sorry. What Merete is called because I asked her.
Merete. I was very surprised what kind of collaborations you guys had, and I wanted to ask you who surprised you the most or impressed you the most when you did this kind of collaboration.
Impressed the most. I mean, it's difficult to be impressed by Einar because we are impressed 24 hours a day every time he sings, because I think he's like the pinnacle of the progressive singers nowadays. We toured with them when we released Spiritual Migration. We went on tour with Leprous. They were touring Bilateral, which is my favorite Leprous album. And since then, we wanted to work with him. So yeah, we were expecting this kind of amazing intro. So I was so pleased, but not like surprised. But as a guitar player myself, I think the solo that Angel Vivaldi played on Anabasis, I was so impressed about the way he managed to understand the harmony and the organic approach. Yeah, I think that one was, and then of course Merete in the end, when everything goes up and it's like a very like ending theme, very emotional, and then she does things with the voices that give me chills all the time. Yeah, I think her as well. I mean, all four were amazing. They are raising the quality of the album with every collaboration. All four, Stephen as well. I mean, we are very lucky to come on with those like top-notch artists to be willing to work with us, little Andorran, people.
I really like that heavy metal is starting to embrace a lot more collaborations, where I think 90s, 80s, they didn't really have a lot of collaborations.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a beautiful thing when everybody's coming together, and I see this Sakis from Riding Christ and this band and that band. It's so nice to see everybody coming together in the bands that you love.
But that's it, because we are fans of many bands. I'm fan of all the collaborations we have. So it's like an excuse to be in touch with people you really look up to. And yeah, we will keep doing that in the future. We have a wish list of collaborations for the next one already,
That's awesome. I love that. And for you guys, I mean, look, there's many things to come for you in the future, but as of now, what would you say was the most proudest moment you had with the band Persefone you were just immensely proud of?
I mean, we've done many things already. Like, for example, we played Wacken Open Air, which was some highlight. We played in 70,000 tons of metal in the middle of the ocean as well.
That's awesome.
We've been to Japan, we've been to the States, we've been to many places. But I will say that the more proud moment to me is the fact that we started as a bunch of friends making music. And then we keep being a bunch of friends making music and being amazed about what life is throwing at us, and being very grateful for that. We're healthy, thanks God, and we're just friends, and we're enjoying that, because you always want more. All the musicians do say, if I ever play in Japan, that will be it. I will die, happy. But then you play in Japan, it's like, okay, maybe I want to play in Wacken. Then you play in Wacken. Okay, maybe I want to do this and that. You always want more. But I always tell all the guys in the band, one day this will be over, because life is like that. And then we need to be grateful now and cherish all the moments we're having together everywhere, because we are like family, and I'm happy every time we are able to release an album or go to rehearse or go on tour and see them and be happy with them. So that's for us the best thing ever, because one day this will be just nothing, and the only thing that will remain will be these memories, you know.
I can very much relate to that. I'm a European person myself, so I can very much relate to that mentality and thinking, which is, I think, a very European thing. United States, I'm not going to say which better or worse, it's just different. It's a different way of thinking. And then I'll ask you, what one thing on your bucket list? What do you have something on your bucket list that you're just looking out for?
Okay. Yeah, sure. Many things. I mean, I did many things. For example, I had this. For example, I just sang a deal with Jackson Guitar, for example, which are like my teenage, you know, that was my biggest, you know, thing. And now I'm playing with them. I'm so happy. So I have to think about, yeah, maybe that will be a collaboration with Michael Romeo. Oh, nice. From Symphony X, I think.
Oh, I love Symphony X.
or okay, Marty Friedman will be like the top thing for me. The Marty Friedman is my biggest influence ever, and I won't say even collaboration, just being able to, you know, I don't know, say hi to him or something. But yeah, something like that. Collaborate with one of the artists that I don't know.
You're speaking my language. I got to tell you, Carlos, you're speaking my language.
It's nice. Can I add another thing, because I have many things I want to do. Another crazy dream I have is to be called by Ergel Lucassen to be a guitar player in an Iron album. That would be the best thing, you know? Those are like my teenage dreams, you know? So yeah.
Did you like the new album from Iron Maiden?
No, not Iron Maiden. Iron, like the Ergel Lucassen opera. You know this guy?
Oh, no, I never heard.
It's a guy in Netherlands. He is doing like forever, like metal operas, you know? With all the collaborations with many singers like James Labrie or Michael Ockerfellow. And then he has musicians, and I love all of them. And I'm always like, maybe one day I will be able to do that. And by the way, yes, I like the Senjutsu by Iron Maiden as well.
You like that, Iron Maiden? Because I know among fans, it's been kind of a 50-50. I'm one of those guys. I love everything they do.
Man, they are in the 60s and they are still playing for us. Come on, give them a break. We're great. Yes. We have to be grateful. They've been there for us through all these years. So if they deliver an album, say thank you and shut up. That's it. That's the
I 100% agree with you.
That's it.
And another thing I was going to ask you, I tried to research and find maybe the reason you guys came up with the Persefone, because obviously Persefone, Greek goddess of death, life, grain, destruction. I thought it perfectly encompasses your lyrical themes of the band. To pick that kind of a name. But I want to ask you directly, how did you settle on the name? And because I think it matches you so perfectly, like, how did you even come up?
I mean, there's not that epic, you know, that's that story. We started the band with another name, and we had the first album recorded, but somehow there was another band with the same name. So it was like, we panicked a little bit there. No, we need to change that. So we went into the situation, we need a new name. But you know, when you're trying to find a name, everything sounds so lame. Like the name of every band is so epic, but your names are so absolutely shameful. So we were so tired of trying to find a name. And then this was like very lots of years ago. I was watching the Simpsons, you know, the show. There's this chapter when Homer has a brother or something like that, and he's like selling cars or something like that. And then I was watching that, and they say, this is the model Persefone, queen of the underworld. I was like, that's metal as fuck. Yeah. So I went to the internet, found the story, went to the guys. What do you think about this name? They were so sick of the name. It's okay, whatever it is. So we just gave up, like, Persefone is okay. And then on the second album, we did this Persephone story thing. So, then we paid a little bit of attention on the name, and that was cool. But that moment was like, I have this name. What do you think about it? They were like, this is so beautiful, the best name ever. Okay, let's go and do this. But yeah,
I think you guys were just excited to play music and do this together, right?
Yeah, I mean, this name thing, you know.
I think, you know what is, all band names sound silly until they become who they are.
Maybe. I mean, all the good names are taken, like Iron Maiden or Metallica or Megadeth. Those are the good ones, or Symphony X or whatever. But your name always is like, this is a really ridiculous name. But anyway, but now it's not a name anymore for me. It's my life, you know. It's everywhere. I don't even realize it's a band for me. It's friends for me. It's a story for me. So yeah, it goes to another place when you have been using it for this much time.
Do you feel like, I mean, I always like to ask this question because sometimes it has an effect, sometimes it doesn't, that you guys hail from Andorra. Do you feel like coming from there in some shape or form formed the way the band came out, your musical interest? Do you feel like the home that you come from had influence on you? Because, you know, you look to Brazil with Sepultura, 100% their environment formed their music, you know?
Yes.
You go to other these countries. So I'd like to ask the same of you. Do you feel like it's some way formed you as well?
I think that the environment always has an impact on every person, you know? But I don't think if the culture of Andorra, like the musical culture of all that, like had an impression of on our music. But I think that the fact that there's no scene here and we've been isolated for many years making music alone, you know, like the only metal band, more or less. I think that took an impact. We always felt like alone doing this in the middle of the mountains, like high, in the mountains and the cold and everything. So I think that had an influence. You know, we always had this situation like we are from a really small country. We don't deserve to be with the big bands. You know, that feeling we had all the time. The good bands are from US or UK or North Europe or whatever. Never from a place like this. And that was also that make us want to work harder, to deliver and be able to transcend that boundary. But we had this thinking all the time, even today somehow, at some point.
Of course, I think to an extent it always stays with you, and I feel as a fan, my older brother is the one who introduced me to heavy metal. We've always done our due diligence. I feel like you should as a fan. You know your Iron Maidens, your Slayers, and your Megadeths, but it's also important to seek out bands that I have, for example, literally a mission sometimes. Like, I am not going to these countries for these bands. I want to go to a small, from India. Let's find a band from India.
Yeah, that's
because
nice.
It's so important to spread the message of heavy metal, like that 80s cassette tape sharing mentality.
Yes,
I think it's so important.
Because as you said, I'm talking with you and you said something like, the stuff I'm saying is in your language. You resonate with stuff I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's the first time we talk to each other. But I know the way you feel when you listen to Iron Maiden. And the stuff we feel when we listen to some music. And then that's a beautiful thing. And we should, cherish that and share with all the people. I know there's a guy in India having the best day ever, being pumped out because he's listening to a metal song and feeling good about his life again. I'm happy about that, and that's a beautiful thing. Everywhere you go in the show, you can see the faces of the people. It's like people think on the metal scene like people is very angry, all the time. Like
misconception.
Because you go to a show and everyone is smiling as fuck, like they're happy to be there. The musicians are happy, the people is happy. We're just making this catharsis and being able to explode, through artistic performance. So I think it's a good thing to be involved with.
I also believe it's the best time. It might not be the best time for musicians because of competition, because of what social media platforms they're taking away a lot of the financial aspects for bands. It's taking away a lot. But as fans, it is the best time for you because you guys are getting so technical. You're implementing so many different things. Like, I love my Slayer, but they've been topped by many people. And you look at them like Muhammad Ali, how great he was, but people have progressed so much now. And as fans, we're enjoying all of it. It's just, I wish from my perspective that you guys got a lot more of the reward as well, which from what I understand it's difficult.
I don't know if I would say that you don't go into, let's say, extreme death metal, symphonic, whatever thing we are doing to make money or be successful. We just like the stuff we do. That's it. And we all have daily jobs, and some of us, we have families, and we are normal people, and we just want to spread this message. Like, we are normal people, friends, playing music. That's it. Like you, like another guy. We practice our instruments. We enjoy being together. We have a vision. We try to do it. If people like it, we're happy to share. If people don't like it, or we never go like farther, as I told you, we always want to have more. We are humans, we want to have everything because we want everything. But at the end of the day, we're grateful as well. It's been a beautiful journey. So we want to keep the feet on the ground all the time with that. So if somehow it looks like, because we are talking now, we are reaching to new people. That's beautiful. But it is what it is, we don't like to think too much of that. We just want to go to the rehearsal room, practice, go outside, play for the people, enjoy life, going back, try to work harder until we are able to do it.
You live in the moment and you're enjoying the moment.
Sure.
I agree with that. And, starting anything of your own, whether it be a business, a band, even a serious hobby, I think failure looms over our heads, all of us, right? Self-doubt and so on. And I found that talking to other bands, just like in my own life experience, it's always boils down to, I think, a moment where I feel like a light switch, things just kind of turn 180 and you feel like this is possible. And I think we got this. Was there a moment like that for you in Persefone?
When we started, we were very young. I mean, like the keyboard player and I, we've been playing together since we were kids, we had the idea of the band way before starting Persefone. And we were recording demos. We were like 15 years old and trying to play this music. So it was a mess. So, but I remember we were sitting down in the street, very young, and we had this moment like, we are having this band and we will play all over the world and we will have a record label and we will do all this stuff. We will do that. You know that? Yeah, yes. Okay, what's the plan? No plan, of course. We were 15 years old. And then the plan was, okay, since we don't know what to do, we will make albums, like many of them, and we will do every time better until there's a moment that people has to recognize that we are doing something right. That was the plan. And somehow it's been like that forever, like near 30 years old, very, very dumb plan. But yeah, we keep on that. So there wasn't any moment like, okay, now it's working. We don't care. We just make music for the heck of making music. And I don't know. I feel like with Athma, we felt like people was like really interested on the album. And with this one, it looks like it's even more present. But it's outside of the band. That happens because it happens. It has nothing to do with us. We're just making music with the same passion like we did the first one. But the first one is really a bad album. But on the second one, we just try to outdo ourselves. That like that. The only thing we can do.
I enjoy doing interviews with everybody. It's like I see on YouTube a lot of people only pick bands that have a certain amount of following, a certain amount of thing. I like talking to everybody. For example, I talked to a band yesterday that only has 2 albums. Nobody knows about them. And I absolutely love this band. And you know what it is? When I can hear the passion in your voice. I heard the passion in their voice. And I start feeling that I'm no longer talking to a band that's, you have this perception as a fan of what a band is. We all grew up with that. I feel I'm talking to a friend or a brother. And you hear the passion in the voice, and it makes us love you guys even more.
That's nice. I mean, we feel this way because we believe in a village also, when we go outside and we tour, I remember when we played in Japan the first time, it was like a dream for me playing in Japan. Can you imagine? I had this feeling like we will go on to the venue and there won't be anyone like in Japan, but no one wants to see us. But then it was packed, it was sold out. And I was so amazed about that after the show, I went to the closer room. I throw the guitar, I went outside the venue. I did all the cycle around, and then it stopped in the main door to say thank you to all the people that was coming out. Like, thank you for coming. And then we start talking with the people, and we are all the same. There were many kids with albums. Like, can you listen to my album, please? Like, I was someone. I'm no one. I'm just a guy in a country making music like you are. And then, yeah, I think that's important to say to everyone, because we are out there making the music or playing in the scenario. Just people with insecurities, with bad moments, good moments. We're like sharing the moment. Like today, talking with you is happy to connect with other people because we are the same at the end of the day.
And I gotta say, I really the first things that struck us. We all, when we listen to music, some people really dive into lyrics. Some people really dive into certain instruments. The guitar work and drums, man. For me personally, I just so automatically resonated with it, and I loved it so much. That what hit me the most. I've always been criticized for I'm not a person who dives into lyrics right away. It takes time for me to get to that part.
Yeah.
But the music, it just connected with me automatically. I'm excited to get into the whole discography. I think I only listened to 2 albums, this one and the previous one.
Okay.
And I'm like going backwards into listening to each album because I want to do like.
You will see a deterioration on the production, and the ideas, and it will be messy as the back you go,
But we both grew up with the era we listened like on a cassette tape. You could barely fucking hear what you're listening to, and you still love the music. Do
you have nostalgic feelings when you think on that era of your life? I do sometimes. Like I remember when I had like only 3 albums to listen to, and
in Russia, because I was still born during the Soviet regime in Russia. It was on the black market. That's where you bought cassette tapes. You would get them, or my cousins would record them from Turkey because they would broadcast them from Turkey, and we would have cassette tapes, so like Kiss, Slayer, Megadeth, Sepultura, all of that. And I'm like a 5-year-old kid, like just consuming this from beginning to the end.
I mean, that's beautiful. That was good times, good times.
The thing I always remember is that story. I think Sam Dunn in his the metal like a documentary that he talked about how Creator and Sepultura would send each other cassette tapes because that was the only documentary. Way.
Yes, I've seen that. Yes, because in the end, I mean, I have my idols as well. We toured with Obituary, for example. We were like,
oh man,
yeah. I was the first day we were on tour. I was like so like starstruck with them. Like at the Obituary, we are with them, and I remember we were in the tour bus. And then we stopped to pee, in the middle of nowhere. And I was like peeing myself, and it was like the Hardy brothers there, And I was like, what is going on here? But they are peeing as well. They're people,
Yeah.
So in the end, they are people, and they are good people, and they are friends, and they have, they are lovely people at the end. But for us, they are legends because, when we were younger and we had nothing else but music to express, through listening to it. They have like Iron Maiden. They are big in my heart, They will be legends for me during all my life. But they are just people, and it's the beautiful dichotomy.
I got that feeling the first time. Iced Earth is one of my favorite bands of all time. My favorite band of all time. I got to interview Matt Barlow, their singer.
Amazing.
And you know what is once I'm like interviewing him, and I can feel myself turning into a fanboy the whole time. And I'm trying to contain myself. And he's just like most regular guy, relaxed. And I'm like, they're just people. They're just like us.
You're the freaking Matt Barlow, man. It's like you sang in Something Wicked. This way it comes, which is a
and you know what he does? We all do this. Somebody gives you a compliment, and he's like, it's like you're almost uncomfortable with it. You don't know how to take the compliment. It's like, thank you.
I think it's weird when someone is like, you do it well at your stuff. It's like, well, maybe I don't know. I don't feel like that. The healthy thing is that within the band, since we are like real friends, when you have real friends, they don't respect you at all. I mean, they love you, but the amount of respect they give to you is like, maybe I play a guitar solo and then they sing it just like, that's your guitar solo? That's a very bad guitar solo. You're getting old, man, all the time, Oh, you're getting off tempo with the drums, all the time. So that keeps you,
it keeps you level-headed. Yeah. So and I know you guys are doing tours in Europe, right? Are you guys going to be touring like in Asia again, United States? I know the pandemic and everything's going on, but do you have plans for that?
Sure. I mean, we are on tour, hopefully, with Obscura and Disillusion in Europe in October. That will be a good one. And then after that, we have an offer to go to the US with a really, really nice package of bands. But we are trying to be wise with the selection of the tours we are going in with, because we want to do everything. But we have daily jobs, we have families, we need to choose wisely. But definitely the plan is to tour everywhere again, if it's possible, and see what happens.
And see what happens, right? Well, I'm sure if you ever met a Russian person in your life, we are all about toasts. And we love toasting.
Toasting.
We love vodka, and we like to toast.
Yes, sure. Okay. Now I get it. Yeah.
And I would like to give you guys a toast. I know this album, from what I've seen, it's being received extremely well, but I wish it to be the best year for you guys. and really just the doors really open up even more for you, because after listening to your music and especially after talking to you, my liking for the band grew even more.
Thank you.
You know, when you can connect just on a human level to each other.
Yeah, because
And
at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, I feel like I met you before, you know, we could go and spend, you know, time talking about music for hours. I feel that way. And that's beautiful.
and I really hope to see you guys. I would be very much into seeing you guys here in New York, maybe perhaps one day. I'll
I'm
keep my
sure.
I'll keep my eye open for it, and I want to wish you guys just absolute best and luck, and just to more albums, to more music. I'm a fan
Let's
now.
see. Let's see. Let's see. Not fan. You're friend now. I will try to say, am I wrong? Is spasiba?
Spasiba.
Okay, so spasiba to you.
And if I may ask a very dumb question,
Yeah, sure.
in Andorra, what is the main language?
It is Catalan,
Catalan.
which
Okay.
is it's very close to French and to Spanish, but it's a language by its own. So here,
Its own dialect.
yeah, here you will find people talking Spanish all day, like French people talking in French and speaking in Catalan, of course, and speaking in Portuguese as well, like many of them. And lately, a lot of Russian people.
I think they just trying to get away from Putin.
Maybe, maybe.
And with that, do you have anything? I'll leave the last word for you. If there's anything you would want to say to the fans, or anything, or anybody else who's watching.
Yeah, so we've been like many weeks making media. It's been beautiful. We've met a lot of people, and I'm saying the same all the time because people let me say the last word, and I'm keeping saying the same. So I will keep the tradition. I would say to anyone that is listening, enjoy your life and spend time with the people you love, because at the end of the day, it's the only thing that matters. And it's been tough for everyone these times, you know, crazy times.
Yeah.
But that is the most important thing. So breathe and be grateful and spend time with your friends and family, and be grateful for your life, because every day is a present. So it's a little bit preachy and lame, but it's the way I feel, and I want people to think about that.
I think it's a very beautiful sentiment, and I agree with 100% with you. I'm pretty sure I said a couple of times to my wife throughout the pandemic,
Yeah.
the most important thing is family and the people close to you.
Yes.
Once again, I want to thank you very much, man.
Thank you very much. It's been a beautiful conversation.